Hello, everyone. Today, I'd like to talk about something that I think is very important, and that's compassion. Compassion is caring, empathy, and kindness that we all have in us as human beings. On my webpage, first thing I say is that I talk about trying to get out of our own way, starting to get out of our own way in order to make the world better. But we have to start with ourselves. But what I believe with compassion is that when we start getting out of our own way, it makes it easier for us to get out of other people's way. And then that leads to better things all around for everyone, doesn't it? So what I mean and what I'm talking about is the title of my platform, Third Person Perspective. So I'm talking about the third person perspective, but all we generally think about is our own perspective, our own egoic perspective of things, the first person. And so what I want people to do, or what I would like people to at least consider, is to first start considering the other person's perspective, the person across from you, the person you're having the discourse, the dialogue, the debate with. Look at their situation, listen to their words, really take them in, listen to the sound of their voice, and really try to understand what it is they're trying to tell you, whether you're having a general discussion or you're really butting heads about some issue. Because when you do that, you'll find it easier to come to a point of consideration for their perspective on the issue. And now, what does that lead to? Once you have broken down some of those barriers, that makes it easier for you to kind of look at your own point of view and compare it. But you can't do that until you actually take an honest, open consideration of the other person's point of view. So that's the two people. So what's the third? So the third person perspective is, say, the best example, the easy example, is to imagine a person sitting outside. You know, you're at a restaurant, you're having coffee, and you two are discussing something, and there's someone at another table adjacent to you, and they got nothing else better to do, so they're listening in, right? Well, that's the third person's perspective. Because why? Because they don't have a dog in the fight, right? They don't care about what you're saying, but they're listening with an open mind. They don't care about what the person you're sitting across from is saying. They're listening with an open mind. And in their mind, they're putting it all together from a totally different perspective, a bird's eye view, being able to take a, a, a more world view of the situation and put all the pieces together and come up with an idea of what might work for both of you. You know, that's what the referee does, right? That's what the judge is supposed to do, right? Yeah, we know about that. But so that's my idea of the third person perspective. Now, it goes a little bit deeper than that, obviously. I study a lot of philosophy from a lot of different places, and there's another place where I get my ideas about that, and I'll be sharing that in the future on my channel and my different platforms and all. But I wanted you to understand where I was coming from, you know, where I got the name and what I'm trying to do, because you know, in order for us to just have a simple discourse with each other, we've got to take down these barriers. We can't always be on the defense and offense about everything. Well, I mean, we can. Some of us can, and some of us think that's the way it's supposed to be. But there is a different way. There is another way. So, and how do we get that? How do we get people to start doing these things that I just talked about? You know, considering another person's thoughts and perspective. We practice things like mindfulness and meditation. They are the first things, the keys to breaking down these barriers. So, you know, whether it's just a simple breathing exercise, which I shared with you before, or a full 30-minute session of meditation. It doesn't matter. All of that will help open up your mind to looking at things differently and considering differently. Now, I understand that some of you, whether you want to admit it or not, sometimes we don't want to consider the other person's perspective because we don't want our minds to get changed. Understood. But that's life, okay? We're in a diverse world. This experience is diverse. It's about diversity. So I'm not preaching or trying to tell anyone that we need to all think the same, but we need to open up to understanding each other. And that's what we're trying to do here on Third Person Perspective. So if you haven't, please visit my website and just take a look at it and give me some feedback. And if you like anything that I'm trying to do or get any kind of feedback on it, would be definitely appreciated. And of course, this is a platform I want to get around to just wherever I can. So definitely want to use it to speak to people, speak to organizations, companies, corporations. It doesn't matter. So if you definitely know if anyone who needs a speaker, check out my website and consider me for their plans on their next engagement. So that's all I have for today. Third person perspective. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.